This is Caitlin Meyer with Total Expert. Thank you for tuning in to our Continuous Innovation Showcase, where we share updates on our platform enhancements and new capabilities within Total Expert. Today, we are going to take a look at two different features that originated within the Ideas community. Those two features are called Memos and Saved Loan Lists. Our Memos was derived from the idea that pin notes would be really helpful to have and show importance or flag information when prepping or having conversations. This space allows you to add in those details that would be helpful for these conversations. Our Save Loan Lists also started with an idea about being able to engage and filter and save that information. This feature helps you to better target and create some of that segmenting and saving the list for in-process, closed, or funded loans, for example. So the first one we're going to dive into is our memos. So as you can see, I am currently on the dashboard. So the first thing that you'll see when you log into Total Expert. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my contacts. And you will see that I have two different contacts available. So I have John Summer and Jane Doe. So the first thing I want to do is I just had a conversation with Jane. And Jane let me know that they have actually moved and are now located in a different time zone. And so what I want to indicate is, because I helped her move and that they're on a different time zone, is that I want to show that instead of Central Time, remember Eastern Time. So I was on a habit of being able to call her in Central Time. And now I just have to make this reminder that she's on the Eastern Time zone now. So I can't fall back into my old habit, but I don't know if I remember it. So I wanted to make this note in here. The thing I also want to note is, after I was catching up with her, is that she let me know that she is due on April of 2024, for example, and that she shared they're going to have twins. And so that's really exciting. And I just wanted to make a note of it, because that would be really good, helpful information to remember, especially if I'm sparking down conversations with her in the future, or it just helps me remember, like if I'm reaching out to establish that relational and personal piece of information with Jane. I can go ahead and add as many notes, up to 8 lines, as possible. Once I get past that 8-line mark, you'll see that the scroll bar appears. So I can continue to add in information, and I'll just be able to scroll down and see additional information. The other thing that I can do as well is collapse this feature. So in case I don't want to see all the notes, I can collapse it, or I can expand it. And then let's say I, had those conversations with Jane. It's great. I'm working with a new customer now, so I'm going to reach out to John. I click in here, and I also see I cannot call John before 10 a.m. Eastern time. And so this is just helpful because I know that he has a specific time in mind that he does not like to be called before, and that I can be respectful of that. The other thing I can show is that he has now purchased 3 dogs because he likes to show dogs or something. And he is looking for a space with a huge yard. And so then I can keep adding this pinned information in here that others will also be able to see, just information that would be really helpful as I continue to have conversations or to continue to establish that personal relationship with them. And let's say it's now been a few months and I fast forward a little bit and I'm going to be contacting Jane again, and I click in here and I can see that I have my notes and that she maybe now isn't due anymore. It's past April of 2024. So I can go ahead and get rid of this due date one and can say that she has twin girls, for example. And if I know their names, I can add their names in. If not, I can just leave it this way. So I can update this information as well. So anytime that I click out or I click back in, I can see that my notes stay put. And I can also go ahead and edit and update this as needed. And I can delete them. So it will just continue to be a place for you to have these pinned information right at the top, so they're available to you or others who can see Jane's profile and be able to have that most important information right at the top. The other thing that I will note is it will not show up in the notes section. So this is still going to be how you use different notes related to the profile. The only thing that it will do is that it will allow you a space to add in the important information at top without having to scroll through all of these recent notes. So there is our memos feature. And the next thing that I will jump into then is our loans. So here you can see I have different loan lists, and I'm going to go to my first loan. So these are the loans that don't have any filters applied. So I have different classes, different statuses, different types, different purchase opportunities, as well as different amounts and some rates and things like that. So maybe the first thing, and you can see I have a total of 10 loans. So the first thing I want to do is I want to be able to filter on my different statuses within the loans. So maybe I really just want to know which ones have been active and approved and maybe clear to close. So you can see by applying those different filters, and you can know that I have those filters applied by this red dot. You can see in here that my total now has dropped from 10 loans total to just the 6 that meet this criteria. And if I want to save this list, I click into the save button and I save as a new list. And I'm going to call this list my status loans. And I want to make this my default list. So the same list that I can go back to over and over and over again. And I click create. You can see the confirmation message up here that it's now my default. And you can see that the new loan list name is now in my dropdown. And if I click in here, you can see that I have none, which is the original one without any filters. This new loan list that has the default indicator next to it, as well as the status loan list name that I just gave it. And then I'm looking in here and I see, oh no, I already have a status one. So I'm going to click into here, and maybe I realize I don't really like having it be called the status list. I like the loan option better. So I'm going to click into this ellipses and I'm going to delete this loan list option now. And so you can see that after I deleted it, it goes straight back into my default list. And now as I'm going through the loan list option as well, I realize I have this loan list option, which is called the new default list. And what I want to do is I go into here and I want to update some of this information. So I'm going to go from 500,000 maybe, and I just want to see what's in my amount maximum as 300,000. So you can see that my list has dropped from the original down into a total of 2. And I actually just want to save this criteria now. So I still want everything else to stay the same. Just I want to save the new maximum amount to 300,000. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to click save. And you can see now that the criteria has remained the same. And even if I click out of it and then click back in, you can see that that new amount option remains at 300,000, as well as the different statuses. And then let's say you have different loans coming in. So in this case, I'm just going to create one so I can show you. And I'm going to call this my test loan. And I'm going to call it Caitlin, so you can see that it will show up on the list and you can see that it will be mine due to the name. And I'm going to call this an active loan because that was part of the search criteria. The other thing that I'm just going to add in really quickly was that the loan amount needs to be under 300,000. So I'm going to say it's going to be 280. And I'm just going to save it. So now it's going to my default one. And if I go into my other loan list, the one that I had updated the search criteria on, you can see that I have an active loan and it's now called Test Loan Caitlin. So there is our different loan option list. I hope that you really enjoy these new features and that you continue to supply your feedback to us through the Ideas community. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.